Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed visitors and guests, ambassadors, camera crew, wider world. We are here at COP25 in Madrid. My name is Melanie Harwood, and I am the co-founder and co-creator of Educate Global. And our mission is to place an Educate Global climate change teacher into every classroom, into every school, everywhere. And we take education seriously. Now, something happened when we launched Educate Global early this year in April the 22nd. Our remit was to keep it in the United Kingdom as a template. We launched it at COP24 in Katowice in Poland, and with our partners, Unitar. And Angus Mackay said to me, Mel, can you keep it to 80 schools in the United Kingdom? Just make sure that there really is the appetite for climate change in education. Within 2 weeks, we'd signed up 1,973 schools in the United Kingdom, and then things got interesting. On a Saturday morning, I had a direct message on Facebook from a teacher in the United Arab Emirates, and she said, can I do this? Can I be one of the first 80? And I said, no, because you're not in England. I went and had a cup of coffee, came back, and I thought, oh, you know what? I might as well just send her a direct message. And I said, well, if you can, go for it. And I sent her a draft press release. She got herself onto the cover of the Khalij Times in the UAE. And then a few weeks later, Asha Alexander got in touch and said, hi there, I'm the first head teacher in the UAE to do your course. But I've got something interesting for you. All of my teachers are going to do the course. I didn't think much of it until a few days later, one of our team said, you have to see this, something is wrong. Something's really very, very wrong. And all of a sudden, our systems were going bing, 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 bing. 327 teachers in one school became Educate Global climate change teachers accredited by the United Nations. And I'm very, very lucky to be here today to introduce you to Asha Alexander, who's the head teacher of that school. And she's going to be talking about the amazing things she's been achieving and how she is affecting this globally, because we are now in 40 countries around the world with more than 229,000 Educate Global teachers signing up. So, hello, Asha.
Hello, Mel, and hello, everyone. I'm Asha Alexander from Dubai in the United Arab Emirates. I work as a head teacher in one of GEM's education schools, the kindergarten starters. And just as Mel informed you, all 327 teaching staff on my school are climate change teachers certified by the UN. Now, we could well have stopped with attaining certification, but we began to look at how can we transform teaching and learning. We wanted teachers to change the lives of students, and by transformational teaching, I didn't want it to be an empty signifier, a cliche. You had to be inspired in order to change lives. So we began to look at how can we integrate this in the curriculum. If it is a standalone piece of learning that is attached to the curriculum, it becomes weighty, the curriculum becomes unwieldy, and we're unable to transact it. I knew my teachers would definitely face a problem if it wasn't woven into the existing subjects. But in order to get that going, we also needed buy-in from the parents. So we decided to roll these courses out to our parents. 68 parent governors in my school have been accredited UN teachers. Now, when parents and students and teachers work together, it's far easier to get this implemented. Transformational teaching began to take root in our school through changes in pedagogy. A teacher has to inspire more than instruct. There has to be not just the mere conveying of information, but you inspired. It has to be synergy of academic as well as spiritual and social goals. You've got to feel the change in order to make it happen for your children. So transformational teaching in our school began with teachers being inspired and teachers wishing to make changes in the lives of children. And that was very, very important to us. So we began to look at how can we create lesson plans that connect the children to experiential learning and not just make them literate. Most of what we do in schools is to make sure that children are literate. Literacy is not enough. Climate literacy is not enough. Students have to be educated. They need to apply that learning in the real context somewhere in the world. So I would like you to show you a brief video on how this is happening at our school.
The curriculum should steer away from departmentalization and head towards being more holistic with meaningful connections. At KGS, real-world themes like forensic science, climate literacy, and space exploration are the need of the hour and are embedded within the curriculum to provide a highly contextualized setting for multisensory and extensive learning.
I can relate the sea level rise to the recent floods that happened in Kerala and Mumbai last year. And I didn't know climate change was so frightening.
This integrative education practice is not only a hands-on participatory approach, but is also poised to situate languages, mathematics, science, and even liberal arts in a broader cross-disciplinary framework.
Sustainable cities are the need of the hour. With us approaching Expo 2020 and a future where natural resources are depleting, we are hoping that AI and robotics will help us develop a cleaner and long-lasting environment to live in.
So this is some of the examples of teaching that's happening. Children are learning about climate change through robotics, designing real-life solutions for problems that arise. Many of our children actually experienced floods in their native state of Kerala in India, which was unprecedented and had never occurred in the many years that their parents were alive as well. And people were trapped in their houses. They had to be rowed out in boats. So children came back with stories of actually experiencing the changes that climate had brought about. So they were able to relate to these experiences very well. Now, I have the remit in GEMS education to spread this across 52 of GEMS schools in the region and worldwide. It isn't easy to convince 327 teachers to take the course, and it's far harder to make head teachers understand what to do. So one of the things we did to simplify the process was to map the curriculum to existing objectives in social studies, in science, in math, in moral education. We charted out a plan whereby we would simplify the transaction of the curriculum. We allotted time, so there's 5 hours every month for 10 months, so almost 50 hours of teaching takes place integrated into the curriculum, not separate from what we're doing. So if we taught English, we would perhaps use it to write a persuasive piece. If we were teaching science, it might be embedded into weather or animal habitat or other topics. And we are, at the moment, trying to do this for all of the several curricula to enable teachers around the world to integrate climate literacy into lessons. This is the first impediment that you come across when you voice your concern and you say, this is something every school should do. Our vision is not just for a region, it's for the world. It's for every teacher, every school, every child, everywhere. And we will not rest until that happens. In order to enable this, we've had the courses translated into several languages, and we are also making sure that this curriculum is going to be mapped for several curricula across the world, whether it's IB, CBSE, IGCSE, any curriculum, so that teachers find it easier to transact. You will see there's a blue link they're all hyperlinked lessons, enabling a teacher to just go in and click on that link and the lesson is downloaded. So the teacher is able to transact with a very minimal effort. We are enabling teachers to build curriculum and enable teachers to build their lesson plans, which are all uploaded on the Educate Global site. And it's all for free. So there shouldn't be any reason why teachers and head teachers do not embrace this transformational teaching that's happening. When I talk of this, we've given plenty of opportunities to children within the classes, within their school system, to apply their learning. And here's another short video of children using this learning in their surroundings in school.
In KGS, we are going and we are collecting wet waste and giving it to the plants so it's not dumped in the sea.
The compost machine donated to our school by Dalsco helps us segregate wet waste from dry waste.
My name is Aditya and I'm in a plastic-free classroom. A plastic-free classroom includes glass and steel, water bottles and tiffin boxes. We are doing this because plastic takes a lot of time to get decomposed and is bad for environments, habitats and wildlife. Today during Right to Read, we read a book about climate change. In the book, I saw children picking up garbage from the roads, trying to stop pollution. So I request you all to stop the use of plastic and give climate literacy lessons in all schools so that my generation could have a better place to live in.
When you integrate climate literacy in every subject, in every bit of the curriculum, yesterday I had a very interesting conversation with a teacher from Mexico, and she said, in my school, they treat it as co-curricular. There's nothing co-curricular. The curriculum evolves around your child. It evolves around your societies, and it should not be dictated by boards. One of the things as a head teacher that I did was to be disruptive. I didn't wait for my board or my education providers to tell me that I needed to teach climate literacy. I felt the need to do so, and I wasn't making any excuses. You need to be brave in order to face up and not provide excuses when it comes to integrating climate literacy. There are so many reasons which we give ourselves as to why we cannot do something. And yet, there is so much that we can do every single day, and it all adds up. If you're waiting for leaders to make the change, there's no savior coming to save us. We are our saviors. We are the people who have to fight the fight. And therefore, I advocate a movement, a revolution from the ground up. The only thing, the only solution that is long-lasting and will make an impact on this world is education. Raising awareness, actually being the change that you wish to see in the world. You have to make sure that this change is lasting. We haven't embraced this for a short while. We haven't embraced this for a year or to come here for COP25 or Expo 2020 in Dubai. This is a change that is going to last as long as we live, because I am concerned about the future of my children, my grandchildren, all of the 5,000 children who study in my school and their futures. If as educators and as adults, we are expecting someone else to find the solution, I think that is an extremely wrong thing to do. We gather together at COP and other forums to discuss. We share. And my hope is that what I have brought to you today will go into classrooms all over the world. This course is for free. People complain about money and financing and getting the funds. The course is free for you to do. If you have the will, your country has the will, your teachers have the will, your head teachers have the will, you can inspire every child, and through every child, every parent in the community. We were part of a research project by Harvard called Project Zero, and we were researching about creating communities of innovation. And I've actually feel that I've led from there to this, because the first thing we did in our research was to open doors. In our school, every parent can book a lesson, walk into the school, and see how lessons are being taught in that school. So if a parent had concerns about climate literacy or what is being taught in the school, they were welcome to come into the school and see the lessons in progress. We went from there to inviting our communities, our companies around, the World Green Economy Organization who's supporting us. And from there we decided we have to come to COP and take our message to the world. So we've now opened our doors to the world. I don't think leadership is just about being ahead and charging ahead and hoping the rest will follow. Leadership is about sharing, empowering others, and in turn, helping them build capacity wherever they are in the world. Genuine collaboration that comes from a deep, ongoing partnership, which I hope we will be able to forge. And I am delighted to tell you that teachers all over the world are embracing this. We have a video for you from several countries.
Just like many of you, as a parent, I couldn't have a bigger motivation to want to create a better world, both for my own children and for other future generations.
Mi sono iscritta al corso Educate Global perché è il nostro preciso compito come docenti dare ai nostri studenti le conoscenze giuste in modo tale da renderli consapevoli della questione ambientale. I nostri ragazzi hanno bisogno di poter prendere delle decisioni informate, decisioni che avranno un impatto sul loro futuro.
I joined Educate Global because from the start I recognized their devotion to achieving SDG goals.
الرحمن الرحيم انضممت إلى دورة الإديوكيت جلوبال لإثراء معرفتي بموضوع تغير المناخ. في الوقت الحالي نخطط لدمج حوار التغيير المناخي في جميع دروس اللغة العربية وآمل أن نرجع ونعود باستمرار إلى تلك الموقع للحصول على المعلومات المفيدة منه.
Being part of the Educate Global group means that I'm able to share resources and ideas with people from all around the globe so we can work together on this vital issue.
Educate Global is very important to every single teacher.
Mi chiamo Patrizia Petino e sono una docente accreditata per il cambiamento climatico.
My name's Johnny Friend and I'm an Educate Global climate change teacher.
I'm Bojana Bogojevic and I'm speaking from Belgrade, capital of Republic of Serbia.
Melody, would you like to share?
So Educate Global has 5 phases. I'm just going to outline the first 2 for you. Phase 1, we make the Educate Global full Educate Global climate change teacher course available online. It's fully funded. I've funded it personally myself to this point, and we are now in talks with countries, regions, to be rolling this out as well, to be supporting us. You can't just give a teacher a lesson plan and say, there you go and teach this. You have to give them the confidence to be able to deliver this content that they don't feel lost and alone. This is a frightening subject. You only have to walk around here to listen to some of these talks and you just feel very depressed and very low. It's depressing. So you have to give teachers this powerful knowledge and confidence, so that when they are then given access to the Educate Global social site, which is currently in, I think it's in 190 languages, Tim? How many languages? 190 languages. You can translate all of the content. And it's all United Nations content. It's from more than 192 UN partners. It's good stuff in there. When we first launched this course, I didn't think anybody would join us. And I got a phone call from Dr. Ben King, a teacher in Churston Ferrers in Devon, and he said, do you know what you've got inside here? I said, no. And he said, we've been looking for these case studies for 30 years. And that's it. Teachers are looking for fantastic content. You give them great quality content, you map the curriculum, we work together. All of these leaders are coming out. The Asha Alexanders in the Middle East, the Ben Kings and Merrill Batchelders in the United Kingdom. We've got teachers all over the world. Those are just a smattering of them. In under 6 months, this has gone viral. We've taken a small UN website and it has become the most successful education site in the history of the UN. My remit was 80 schools. I rest my case. If I'm here at COP25 6 months later, and we are in thousands of schools, we can be everywhere within 6 months with your help. We need for you to go back to your governments, your leaders, and to ask them to get in touch with us so that we can provide your country with its very own Educate Global portal on the equivalent of your Department for Education website, and then we can support it in your country, in your language. What has been very interesting for us is that the teachers have come together with Tim Collins, who's our CTO and our amazing polymath, and they've been mapping out this entire program into, I think it's more than 25 international languages to begin with. So your school has translated it into Arabic. The World Green Energy Organization, we met with Dr. Issa Bastaki, and we've shown him what we can do, what we can provide, and how Asher is going to deliver this into every school throughout the UAE. This is not just for private independent schools. This is for every single education outlet on the planet. This is action, real action, because when you see what happens to a community, when you see what happens when these children join forces and go back and teach their parents, teachers don't just teach children. They indirectly teach entire communities. It transforms communities. We've got a school in the United Kingdom that has followed your template, Asher, and they are the first school in the UK with every teacher is a climate change teacher. And Fiona Cowan is joining us next week. She's going to come and show us what it has done to her community, a community that is struggling financially. It was a coal-driven community in Derbyshire. It has transformed that community. Everybody knows what they're doing. Now, I don't know about you, but I know that we need leadership. And I see leadership in every one of these children's faces, every school that I'm going to. Real leadership. And that's what we're after. We're after children and their families that are going to take us forward. So please, any questions, anything at all? Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. This is quite interesting, and it blends well with what we are doing in Zimbabwe. I'm from Zimbabwe. I'm Tatenda. We just got some funds from UNITA. I heard you mentioning about UNITA to develop a national climate change learning strategy. That's why we attended this session, so that we learn, we know what to include in the strategy as well. Now, maybe I have maybe 2 or 3 questions. In terms of translating the material to local languages, you said you can support that?
Yes,
I think that's quite interesting.
We can work with your government.
Yes.
And then we find the teachers in your region in the different languages, and we put a strategy together, and we can apply for development aid or funding, green funding, and we can build that very quickly. Asher's team put the Arabic version together in 3 weeks, and then we just get it and we make sure that it is correct, and we can build that portal for you on your country's website.
Okay, wow, that's quite interesting. Now, coming back to my next question, what is the scope of this program? Do you cover only primary and high school students, or you can also cover universities and colleges?
Everything. We go right from preschool. We have preschool right through to primary, middle school, secondary school, high school, further education. We are in colleges. We are even now 11 teaching universities in the United Kingdom are pushing forward their Bachelor of Education teachers and their PGCE students through the Educate Global program. So remember I said 5 phases. Phase 1, educate the teachers, upskill the teachers.
Yes.
Phase 2, provide them with the lesson mapping, the planning, with hundreds of lessons. All climate change has to be interweaved as if it's a golden thread right throughout your curriculum, right through from PE, little children, right up to the oldest. We've even got oldies like me doing it. And there are 5 courses to begin with. It's children and climate change, human health and climate change, gender and environment, international legal regime, and my favorite is cities and climate change.
Okay. Yeah, that's quite interesting. I heard you mentioning about being accredited, coming to become a United Nations teacher, climate change teacher.
That's right.
How do one do that? What is the process?
We will have a chat with you. You log on to educateglobal.org, so it's www.educate with a double C, EDUCCATE global.org. And we have a registration process there. You log into the site, you register, and then you do 5 chosen courses that we have put together from the UNCC Learn outline. You complete those, and then you come back to us, and we fully accredit you, as long as you have a school email address. So that is something that we're finding a bit of a challenge in China. We've had 700 schools from China sign up last week. We had 6 teachers from Ethiopia, 6 head teachers signed up last weekend from Ethiopia. It's coming. We have an average of 77 schools signing up an hour. So we'll get you through that process. All you have to do is get in touch with us. Let's have a meeting with your education minister, with your foreign ministers.
Yes.
Let's get going.
Yes.
Let's get going today. You're not leaving here until we've sealed the deal.
Unfortunately, my education minister is not around, but there's a representative
That's okay.
from
You
the
and I
education
can shake
ministry.
on it.
Even myself, I'm the one coordinating the climate change learning strategy project development process, so it's fine. We can
We'll
have
do
a
it.
chat. Right.
We'll
Cheers.
do it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Maria Gosa, I'm also from Zimbabwe. I wanted to find out, this is quite very interesting and very challenging for us, because we feel that we need something like this back at home. But my question is, the content which you have, do you modify it to suit the different agroecological zones? Because climate change in our country is impacting different areas of the country differently. So if we are to make it relevant, the education has to, be aligned to the local niche conditions.
Absolutely.
I agree. What you need to do is, the courses may be general in nature, the lesson plans may be generic, but they are tweaked according to your circumstances. When I say curriculum is everything that happens to a child in the school. It's the sum total of the experiences the child has. And the most relevant experiences are those that happen around the child. So the teacher adapts the curriculum to the needs of the child. So if you are in Italy, it may be different. If you're in Belize, you're different. If you're in Zimbabwe, you might want to look. But personally, I think all of our children should have an understanding of all the climate-related emergencies across the world as well. It's fine to educate children about their immediate surroundings because that's where they can apply their learning. But there is a very felt need that it should go past all boundaries, and children should start thinking and acting like global citizens.
Thank you so very much. If you have any questions, please do get in touch with us. We will be here afterwards. Or you can come and meet us at the UNITAR stand next week. We'll be here. But you can't miss us. We're the ones singing all over the place. Everybody's looking very glum. We're the ones singing every morning. And we're in Spain. We have to give each other kisses on both cheeks. So thank you very, very much for having us. And we'll see you all again next time. Thank you.
Thank you.